Hey guys, in this video I'll be comparing Hadi Choopan's 2024 Arnold version and Derek Lunsford's 2023 Olympia version. There was much debate over who should have won the 2023 Olympia, so this comparison should be interesting considering that Hadi just brought one of his best versions to the stage. Both have completely different strengths and weaknesses, so this should make for a very competitive comparison. Anyways, before the video does start, if you guys could like and subscribe, it would really help out the channel. With that all being said, let's get into this video. Alright, the front double is the first pose of this comparison, and it's a stellar pose for these two. Both are pulling vacuums, which accentuates their V-tapers, which were tremendous to begin with. That being said, I think Hadi obliterates Derek in the quads and in the arm conditioning and shape. His legs are so massive and perfectly swept while not sacrificing any separation or detail. His biceps and triceps are perfectly conditioned and have far more shape than Derek's. Derek does have great overall flow and aesthetics, however, his weaker arms and lack of quad sweep do hold him back. I really like Hadi's pose, and he looks absolutely phenomenal. The only thing that I can notice is maybe a small imbalance within his left and right arms. However, it's not significant enough for him to lose the pose. The front lat spread isn't really known as either of their best poses, however, I do think that Hadi has drastically improved this shot. He is super wide across the shoulders, ripped in the upper body, and showcases a better midsection in my opinion. Now, Derek does have some amazing lats which are obscured by the terrible lighting at the 2023 Olympia. However, he lacks fullness in the chest and quads, which does hold him back. His delts and arms are massive and separated though, and I would give him the win in those aspects. That being said, Hadi looks so much more aesthetically pleasing as his lower body is more proportional than Derek's, and his silhouette is far more appealing. I'd go with Hadi once again, as from the front he is a true powerhouse. The side chest starts to become competitive as Derek has one of the best side legs in the game. He is certainly better in the glutes than Hadi, however the size and overall conditioning are both very comparable. Upstairs, Hadi definitely dominates in the arm and delt, as they are far more separated and grainy looking, and his midsection is miles ahead of Derek's. Both do have good chest conditioning, however I'd say that Hadi is superior in conditioning overall, while Derek looks fuller in the upper body. While it is close, Hadi looks more complete from head to toe, possessing a good balance of size and supreme condition, while Derek looks a bit soft upstairs. The back poses are where the battle between these two really went down, however I think Derek still has the advantage over Hadi. His back is drier, more separated, and wider. From behind, I'd give Derek the nod in conditioning as well, as he is far superior in the delts and glutes, and really has that dry look that Hadi doesn't have from the rear, specifically in the back. Now, Hadi does have amazing arms, hamstrings, and a pretty solid back as well. However, Derek really looks like a mini Phil Heath in this pose. Hadi needs a bit more lat width and lower back dryness to really push Derek. However, he is competitive almost everywhere else. Not a weak back by any means, however, Derek is a complete freak when it comes to this shot. The rear lat spread is a bit of a different story, as Derek doesn't necessarily run away with the pose. Interestingly, in the rear lat, Hadi opens up much more, presenting wider lats, great conditioning and detail, and comparable mass to Derek. While he isn't as dry in the lower half, he still has great hamstrings and glutes. However, Derek is just on another level in the glutes specifically. His back isn't as impressive in the pose as you would think, however, I still think he edges out Hadi in this area. His traps are thicker and wider, his lower back is crisper and a bit more dense, and he presents similar width. This is certainly a close pose, and an argument for either winning is definitely plausible. However, Derek looks too freaky in the lower body and doesn't really lose anything in the upper half, so I'd go with him for the win. The side tricep is again a pose that neither are necessarily known for, however, I do think that Hadi has really managed to bring up this pose big time. His midsection is the first thing that stands out to me, as it's not only ripped to shreds and perfectly controlled, but it also exposes Derek's lackluster looking midsection. Hadi looks sharper, more polished, and executes an all-around better pose in my opinion. However, he doesn't necessarily out-muscle Derek. Derek still has an impressively large arm, thick chest, and great side leg. However, his soft-looking midsection and relatively unimpressive conditioning in the upper body leaves much to be desired. I'd definitely have to go with Hadi for his tremendous shape, conditioning, and refinement. However, Derek may win in a judge's eyes due to him being fuller and looking a bit bigger upstairs. The Aban Thigh is certainly a Hadi Choopan pose through and through. Look at the abs, the serratus, and the obliques, by far the best on stage, probably only rivaled by Andrew Jacked. Derek looks pretty great as well, showcasing his quad in a different light to increase its perceived size and pulling a deep vacuum that accentuates his impressive V-taper. While I am a huge fan of the vacuum pose, I think that Hadi's intricate midsection detail and equally impressive taper, coupled with his massive separated quads, leads me to preferring him in the pose. I am just drawn to all the nooks and crannies in the midsection, the deep shadows and things like that, which is something that you don't see every day. There is a picture of Derek hitting the Aban Thigh while crunching down, however, I don't think it's fair to use it because it was taken during a transition. Regardless though, I don't think he has the detail or dryness in that area to beat Hadi anyway. The most muscular is the last pose of this comparison, and it is actually a pretty good pose for both. Although Derek doesn't have the best chest separation, the overall pose has grown on me, as he looks full in the arms and his delts are round and striated. That being said, Hadi looks so ripped and shredded everywhere, plus he has the added vascularity and muscle maturity that Derek lacks. Although Derek looks much fuller in the chest and arms, Hadi has the superior quads, a better midsection, great arms, and that deeply cut and striated chest. I think that this would be close, especially in this variation of the pose. However, I'd go with Hadi for his polished and refined look. If Derek could come in with a fully striated chest like Hadi, I think this would make for a top tier shot. However, as it is, I would have Hadi winning. Alright guys, that about does it for this video. All in all, I think that if Hadi were to have brought this package to the 2023 Olympia, he surely would have secured his second title. He was definitely better in the front shots, more complete from the side, and really only lost in the back poses. He was far more conditioned than Derek from the front and side, specifically in the arms and chest, and he grasped my attention much more than Derek did. That being said, please let me know down below, what do you guys think? Could Hadi have won the 2023 Olympia with